Hi, everybody. Howie Boeve with BP Realty, a broker owner. This year is my 30th year in the industry. And, 30 years in, I've not had more fun than I'm having right now with helping agents have success in their business. Because if they're having success in their business, clients are having success with buying and selling, and even though there's challenges in the marketplace. So today we have the privilege and honor of having Corey Worrall on the call or on this recording to just talk about his experience in joining BP, getting into the real estate business, which is scary in and of itself. The statistics show that from NAR that 87% of new people like Corey that get in the business 2 years later are back out of the business. NAR also says that the average agent in their first 2 years only makes $9,000 a year their first 2 years in the business. So it's scary. And there's a lot of people that fail. And Corey is a shining star here with BP Realty. We want to just take a moment to congratulate him on that and have him share his experience with you as to the success and what it's been like. So Corey, thank you for taking some time, man. I really am excited to have you share with those that are listening your story and your journey. So how about, who's Corey? Tell us about Corey.
Thanks for having me, Howie. I appreciate the kind words. So like you said, my name's Corey Worrall. I've been living in the West Michigan area for about 12 years now. I moved over from the Lansing area. I met my wife, Nicole, and we have two daughters living out in Jenison right now, enjoying the West Michigan beautifulness. I was for almost 15 years in the restaurant industry, between a dishwasher, a busboy, bartender, and then later in my career, I became a training coordinator, assisting with all kinds of front of house duties and helping with lower level managerial stuff. So, yeah, the people personality was in my field, and I thought real estate was going to be an easy transition because of that. It quickly became a learning experience on how being effective at your job trumps being nice to people.
That's all. So Corey is one of the meanest, not nicest realtors
Yes.
you will meet. I'm just kidding.
Yes, monster.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, share about, I mean, obviously you must have had some conversations and dialogue with your wife about, hey, making a career change, and then kind of talk about that a little bit, and then talk about, just what your journey was like how you got to BP. Did you interview other places? Talk about that process.
Yeah, absolutely. So I actually was in conversations with so I started last October. Kind of October 1st was originally my full bore date. So 7 months in now. And before that, for the previous year or so, I was talking to friends that were in the industry, enjoying it. It's kind of a joke that if either you stay a bartender the entire time you're there, or you live long enough to become a realtor. And so a lot of bartenders that I knew actually did get into the industry, and I was getting a lot of their experiences and understanding. And I really enjoyed the prospect of being able to help people and change their lives, some of the biggest decisions that they're going to make. So when the time came at the end of the summer, my daughters were no longer needing me at home in the morning. I decided to jump fully into and start interviewing with a couple of companies. I got in contact with about 7 or 8 of them and interviewed with about 4 of them. And BP was obviously one of them. And I went through the processes a lot I won't say names, but it was essentially phone call. Hey, welcome. We're going to give you a desk. We're going to give you a badge, and we're going to let you go out into the world. And that didn't really fit my style, especially being new. I thought being able to be taught the industry before I got into it was an important detail.
Sure.
So when I did sit down with BP and start having conversations, went through the interview process, it became apparent that education and accountability and growth were something that was required, not just of me, but of everybody in the company. And that really did kind of settle with me. And September came, and we started along.
Nice, nice, nice. So you signed in September, began in October. You've been in the business 7 months. When did you have your first closing?
Yes. So the first 30 days, I really got into our training processes, watching a lot of education, a lot of understanding, videos, how to, for example, how to do canvassing for open houses, or how to present yourself at open houses, or how to speak to people in your sphere about the strategies that we're using here. Some like the strategies of competing against other offers, 9 other offers, and winning, and having the client pay for $23,000 less than the appraisal value. I mean, it gets people's attention very quickly.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Wait a minute. Meaning,
Yeah.
so say it again. So you are taught a strategy that helped a first-time home buyer compete against 9 other offers. She got her offer accepted, but she paid $23,000 less than what the house appraised for. That's unheard of.
That's exactly right. And you just reacted how most people do when we have that conversation.
Yeah. Well,
It's
and I did that because it is powerful, right? Like
it is.
If that is your value proposition, right? And that's the beautiful thing. It's not, well, Corey's brand new. He's got to work 10 years before he's got some success stories and strategies and history, right? He joins a system and a process and a model and a playbook that has these strategies that are having these successes. And you can go into the field 2 days in the business and go, this is what we are doing. And we are having amazing success, and you're connecting with your sphere to do that. So yeah, it's powerful. I love that.
You're absolutely right. Being able to use the team's success stories, like you said, 7 months in versus 30 months in, you might have a few more tricks and tips up your sleeve, but that's good because I can use your sleeves as my tips and tricks.
Exactly.
I'm, because of the things that we're learning here, the strategies, the cash offer strategy, the one we just spoke of about winning, is just one of the strategies that I can have some conversations with seasoned agents, ones that have been in the industry for a couple of years that don't know about it, but because they were let to, kind of fend for themselves. I'm being taught by you guys, being taught by the company. I get to use those influences. And if I have a question, I can give Cindy a call, I give Howie a call, I give Phil a call, and make sure that, okay, this is what we as a company do, not Corey as an agent does.
Yeah. Yeah. It's powerful.
And we got to use that. Actually, kind of back to your original question, was my first client, my first concierge client. They were.
What is a concierge client? Because we're talking to a new.
Yeah, my apologies. Concierge. So the concierge is going to be our department that is a nurture campaign. They're going to be doing the dials for me, for the whole company, not just for me, but for the whole company. They're going to be getting out into the world and finding those people that have raised their hands, that have said, yes, Mr. and Mr. Buyer, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I want to purchase a home, or looking in the world to list their home or buy a home. And what they do as concierge is nurture that campaign. What they do is introduce us, start conversations between us and the clients. They get involved first to establish a relationship, because relationships, we're in the relationship business. I mean, we do buy and sell homes, but they're establishing relationships. Yeah. And then as a relationship nurture, they turn the clients over to the specialists in order to kind of proceed from there. So right away, they're developing that initial contact, which is obviously probably the most important thing to growth. You need to get that initial contact established. And then they turn the customers over to us in order to proceed through the process, the 46-step process that is buying a home.
Yeah. So when you are an agent, either brand new or experienced, and you join BP, what you're telling me is you're not only generating business and leads from your sphere, right? Which is what everybody does. You're also provided company generated customers from a concierge department that has been nurturing and building a relationship with someone, that when they're finally ready to meet with a specialist, they're engaging and bringing you as an agent onto the team. They're endorsing you. They're scheduling the appointment on your calendar. They're sending a video talking about, hey, this is why you're going to love working with Corey. Corey's amazing because of this, and blah, blah, blah. And that was your first closing, is just a company generated customer. Here you go sell them here, go show them that house.
And kind of the miracle situation, we talk about manna, right? Like, it's, yes, like you said, exactly right. They're from Arizona. They were looking in the area to purchase. Our concierge department got a hold of them, got in contact with them, set up a meeting because they were going to be in Michigan for one weekend. So, without knowing these people at all, the established relationship from the concierge department, I met with them on Friday morning. We got to know each other. We sat down. We talked for a couple hours, actually. We got a good idea of what they were looking for on Friday. Saturday morning, we went out. We explored the neighborhoods, really honing in on what they were specifically looking for. And then Sunday afternoon, we were under contract. So within 72 hours of meeting them, we were under contract because of that relationship that concierge had nurtured and provided and really established. We could kind of transition almost immediately into the let's find you a home now situation when they needed it to be.
Yeah, almost the doctor mode. So now
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask you to be a little humble here, because we're all about humility, right?
Yeah.
So I'm sure if there's a brand new agent listening to this, right? And by the way, what was the price of the home that they bought?
Just over 1 million.
$1 million buyer. Wow.
Yep, just over 1 million.
That's a nice commission check.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, but if you're brand new, right? Like even though the concierge department did a great job of talking about you, our company, our value proposition, to set the appointment, right? Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you were 2 months in the business, Corey. Like, you mean you mastered your presentation and you did it all by yourself and you had it all figured out within 2 months? Or did you have a coach and a mentor there at that appointment with you, helping to set the stage properly and helping to do that well to continue to help you be successful?
Absolutely. You were sitting right next to me the whole way. Absolutely. 100%.
You didn't have to say it was me.
100%. No, I will say it was you. 100%, because that's the important part. It's the broker owner, 30 years experience, sitting next to the guy who's 60 days in, teaming up together to work on one client's future in Michigan. That to me says a lot, because as the low rung guy, you expect the next rung of the ladder to be the one teaching you, and so on and so forth. But that's not how we operate. It's a true team aspect, coach, team.
Yeah. Well, it's like the saying says, you can run fast alone, but you can run far together, right? As a team. And even though it's your business and we're promoting you and your name, and we're promoting, like it's not the Howie Boeve team, right? It's BP Realty. We support you and your business and help you to grow. So you start in October, and you have $1 million closing in December.
Right. So that means in November.
So let's just run the math on that. $1 million times 3% is a $30,000 commission check in your first 2 months. And NAR says the average brand new agent only makes $9,000 in their first 2 years. So you've completely beat the odds there.
1 down, 2 years down.
Anyway, all right. Share a little bit with me about just, and congratulations on that. I was so excited to see you. I mean, because you had a big role, right? You still were the lead agent on it, even though we were mentoring you, walking alongside of you. You were, and this is what I've really loved about watching you grow, Corey, is you were the guy that we said, do this, and you did it. We said, say this, and you said it. Like, you are probably, of all of the agents I've coached, and you know this, I'm a national real estate coach too. Of all the agents I've coached and helped, you're probably top 2% of all agents as far as the implementation of what we teach. You grab it, you implement it, it becomes you. And I'm just super proud of you for doing that. So that's awesome.
Thanks, Howie. Thank you.
So talk a little bit more about just your training, your mentorship, concierge customers. You don't probably have to talk about that. I mean, because we'll talk more about that, but probably just talk more about a playbook, right? Like you talked about one strategy, right? Which helped a first-time home buyer, but like, what does your arsenal look like as far as mentors and customers and playbook, and kind of talk about how that's been instrumental in your success?
Yeah. So going to, of course, leadership. I mean, I mean it wholeheartedly when I say, being 7 months in the industry, I don't have my utility belt as full as some other people do, mine specifically, but I have the team's um, tool belt to use okay, in this situation. Real estate's very fluid, everything changed. No one deal is the same as the next. So being able to lean on a conversation or a difference of opinion, or ask, Phil sits 2 desks away, being like, hey, in this situation, what goes here? Or give Cindy a call about,
Yep.
hey, I have this circumstance. It's very specific. How would you deal with it? Or giving you a call and, hey, we talked 3 days ago about specifically that, about a question.
Yep.
Hey, I have a very unique circumstance. How do I pivot from here? So leadership, I mean, I think is the foundation here. Kind of 1B, if leadership's 1A, 1B is the playbook, is the strategy books that we use. So we have the buyer's book and the seller's book, both of which are, if you follow almost word for word, you can almost guarantee every time that you're going to win an appointment, because it talks about the one success, the success story, just one in particular, the competing against 9 other buyers, winning the bid and paying $23,000 less than the appraisal. And right away, I mean, who doesn't want to walk into a house with $23,000 of equity in the walls? I mean, that's fantastic. I mean, if you don't, you can just cut me the check for 23 and we'll call it good.
Right. Right.
And then the seller's book is the same way, being able to utilize a house that was on the market for $550,000. It sat there for 150 days. This was before we had it. It was, previous listing. BP Realty got a hold of it. We listed it for $600,000, and in 6 days, we sold the property. 6 days.
Yeah, it's
That's
powerful.
more market stuff, right? Exactly, for $50,000 more than what it was originally listed for. So not only did we proved our value, we paid for our value, we got those clients got them out of the home that they were trying to get out for almost 6 months.
Yeah.
So it's crucially important that we lean on the playbooks. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then I'm sorry, you said 3 things: leadership.
Just leadership.
Playbook.
You have a team here, right? I guess the point is, like, there's Cindy is a lead or a mentor of yours. Phil is a lead, a mentor. I'm your coach, lead, mentor. You got an admin lead mentor. You got a marketing person lead mentor. You got a concierge team lead. Like, there's so much support here. I guess I just wanted to make sure that the people listening understood that, right? It's not just one person call. Hey, here's my value proposition. If you call me with a question, I'm going to answer you within a half an hour, which is great. But if you don't even know what questions to ask, how is that a value proposition? I don't understand that. Right.
Yeah, that's important to know, that when you have a question about a question, make sure that you can find the right person to ask the question about a question too.
Right. Exactly. So, yeah, I mean, I appreciate you sharing that. So you've been in 7 months. I'm looking at the notes here. And Corey, you've had 5 closings and you have 3 pendings closing in May.
Yep.
So if I were to run the GRAR statistics, okay, there was roughly 4,000 real estate agents and 12,000 home sales last year. That means the average agent sold 4 houses last year. Now, we both know 50% of them didn't sell anything, right? And those are statistics, right? But if the average agent on GRAR last year sold 4 houses, how the heck are you selling 8 in your first 7 months of a brand new career? Like, can you talk a little bit about that? And maybe we're going to regurgitate what we've already been talking about, but that's amazing, man. Congratulations on that.
Thank you. I think that was permission to take the rest of the year off from you, right? I can take no.
Wow.
Okay. No.
You better talk to your wife about that.
Right. No. So, I mean, at being 7 months in, I felt like I was very moldable clay. I mean, I didn't know anything, so being taught, I don't want to say that I take them for granted, but I don't know the other ways to do them. I know the BP way of doing them, the strategies that we use, the buyer book, the seller book, being able to lean into a team that does care about your growth. and being able to ask questions along the way. I mean, I know that they are my sales and I am the lead agent on it, but I wouldn't have done any of these without the help of BP. Every one of them.
Yeah.
Every one
Yeah.
of them.
Yeah. So according to the records too, correct me if I'm wrong, but of those eight, five already closed, three pendings. Of those eight, seven of those were company generated customers, right? Like we talked about, the marketing department generated a lead. The lead was converted to a customer by the concierge department, and they set the appointment, right? Seven of your pendings and closings were from company generated customers, and one was from your sphere.
Mm-hmm.
So is it fair to say if you would have had the same training, the same mentorship, but not concierge customers, you'd have had one closing in 7 months versus 8?
Potentially, yeah. I mean, absolutely. This kind of ties into, because I was being inundated and given so much opportunity, I felt like as a new person, I even had to press pause because of the amount of chances that I was getting at concierge. I mean,
well,
for a time.
Time out. Let's elaborate on that. So you said to the concierge department, I need to press pause. Please do not send me any more customers. Please do not schedule any more appointments with new customers with me because I have too many. Is that what you're telling me?
When you say it like that, it makes me sound like a fool. But but yes, at a certain, yeah, I mean, yes, I was because of wanting to be able to stick to getting my sphere of influence grown and perpetually working on not just making results happen, but making my business grow individually as well. Yeah, I did. I had to tell concierge that, listen, I appreciate it. I mean, it's fantastic. It's great. So many opportunities is amazing, but I need time to put my work into my sphere as well. I need time to make sure that I'm keeping up with my end of the deal that says I'm going to make sure that I am bringing to the table as much as that I'm being taught.
Well, and I appreciate you saying that, Corey, because that is, obviously when you say you want to hold up your end of the bargain or hold up your end of the agreement. Yeah, we do believe it's not healthy for you to join our company and we just feed you candy all the time. Like it's kind of a 50, it's not quite, but it's almost a 50-50 partnership, right? Like we want you to generate and we're going to help you, right? We're going to drip on your database, your sphere. We're going to create client events for your sphere. But it is a 50-50 partnership in a sense. And so, yeah, I get that. And probably, from what you shared with me earlier, yes, you pressed pause because you feel obligated to honor your agreement with us to generate some business from your sphere. But you also had so many customers, you were overwhelmed for a week or two there, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Like you had 4 to 5 buyers all wanting to go look at houses, couple listing appointments all in the same week. And you're like, how do I do this all? Right. So
yeah, I had to, and that's another aspect of the team that we talk about a little bit. I had to call in other agents on the team and be like, hey, I need a favor. Please, can you show these buyers houses for me? Because I don't have time in my day to do it. I have a closing here. I have a so yes, absolutely. And that was another aspect of the team that we get to lean into is, hey, I need help. I need you to figure me out.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. So, hey, this is a hot topic right now. Obviously, we're amidst the NAR settlement, the lawsuit, the changes with compensation, not so much compensation, but just the how, right? No longer can we establish as sellers and listing agents here's what the buyer's agent is going to get paid, right? It's not going to go on the MLS card, but the buyer's agent needs to actually present a value proposition and earn the right to say to the buyer, hey, pay me and how we're going to do this and blah, blah, blah. So as that's been rolled out, we rolled that out here to help our agents be proactive. What has changed? Like what's that been like for you as far as there's a change in the industry, but what have you changed as far as your buyer presentation, your buyer strategy, your value proposition, how you're doing what you're doing? What has changed in your world?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, like you said, that's a hot topic item. And I feel silly saying it's changed almost nothing in my presentations, almost nothing, because at the start of it, we are providing, I mean, first the buyer's book, the seller's book, stories, successes. As a team, what we're implementing, strategies, cash offer strategies, solutions to have people compete against 9 other buyers and win for $23,000 less than the appraisal is something that I'm bringing value initially, as it were.
Yeah. Yeah.
Giving me the opportunity, and this is what being part of this BP Realty does. I'm not taking my own photos. I'm not going out and doing my own marketing. I'm not doing my administration. I'm not putting up my own signs. I specifically am specialized in making sure that we present the value that we have as a company as best as possible. So to answer your question, yes, there's lots of change in the industry, but no, it's not changing me
Yeah.
all that much.
Yeah. No, and I wanted you to share that because that's not the norm, right? Like there's a
Right.
whole lot of agents that are kind of freaking out, like going, so now what do I do? Right now I have to get that buyer to sign an agreement with me and be comfortable that I have a value proposition, that I have something of value that they want. It's not just, hey, I can show you that house. I can open that door, and there's already a compensation in place. They don't have that. And so there's a lot of concern in the industry that's going on with that. But yeah, it's comforting to know, right, that we've already doing that nothing has changed, nothing has to be improved. Like we have the value, we have the strategy, we have the solutions to help buyers win at a high level today. So yeah, cool.
Yeah, agreed.
Hey, one of your, correct me if I'm wrong, one of your closings or pendings, I think it's a closing, was a listing, correct? You had a listing also?
Yeah, I had a closing listing. Yep.
Yep. And that listing, again, was not from your sphere, was from concierge company generated customers, right? And talk about that a little bit as far as you were competing with other agents to win that listing, correct? And
Yep.
and you were competing with agents who had a lot more time on the job than the 4 months ish that you were in the business, right? Like, talk about that. Talk about winning that listing. Talk about what were the things that you believe helped you to win that listing, and talk about, just kind of share a little bit about that story, because that's pretty powerful.
Yeah. And I got another great. It's comforting to be able to lean back heavily on the strategies, the books, the solutions. But we'll start from the beginning, I guess, with them. I got to meet the family. When I met the family, before I even walked to the front door, I had conversations. I had notes from concierge. I had a good foundation of who they are, what they wanted, how they were looking. So right away, before I even walked in their door to do a listing presentation, which we'll go over, I already knew a fair amount about the family. I could take a reasonable guess about the family. So then I got to walk in through the front door and tour their home and really get to know them and what their reasoning for moving was and where they were going. They were actually heading to Colorado and ended up going to Grand Rapids instead. But
That's a change.
Really digging, right. 2,000-mile variation. But it was really important to understand what the real reasoning was behind them moving. So we got to establish a good connection and relationship by ourselves then. And that's once we got to sit down together and really have a conversation about, okay, now at BP, this is how, as strategies that we use, the success story of the seller that I mentioned earlier about selling the house for 6 days for $600,000, being able to express in the marketing campaigns what we do for AI generated leads, blueprints, open houses, targeted campaigns, coming soons, evolve, pictures. I mean, the list is, I definitely didn't hit them all, but that's a lot of them. But I mean, there's a lot of services that go along. This is the, so they were actually a 7% listing, 7% commission listing, as opposed to a 6%. And that's some of the services that are offered in that 7%. Yeah, you raise your eyebrows at me.
Yeah. So let me get this straight. You're competing against other agents for this listing. You won the listing and you charged 7%, which is unheard of today. Like hardly, like most real estate agents feel like if I'm going to win this listing, I got to buy it. I got to be the cheapest commission. I got to discount my fees to win the listing. And you actually won the listing and got a full 7%. And I'm assuming you do what we teach, which is the listing side was 4% and you offered 3%, right? So you gave yourself a pretty healthy raise in that. That's amazing. That's pretty powerful.
Yeah, well, that actually kind of ties into, I assume, why everyone's freaking out about the NAR settlement, because they're assuming that, well, in order to get this listing, in order to get this buyer, in order to get this person, I'm going to have to drop myself down to 2.5%, 2%, 1.5%. Where we here feel and have proven that value is worth the cost. You're not going to go to a discount surgeon and say, all right, I'm going to do a triple bypass for a buy one, get one or something like that. Like you're not going to go and you're going to go to the professional. This is the basic, this is for most people, the biggest financial decision of their life. I wouldn't want to go to someone that is the 1% or the 2%, the discounted rate. You wouldn't go with that a doctor. You wouldn't go with someone who's, buying you a car. It wouldn't be the case. So I really think it leans heavily into value and proving that at the buyer's or the seller's presentation.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I love that. I love the fact that you were 4 months in the industry. You won the listing against other agents that have been in the industry a lot longer. You got a full 7% commission. You showed the value. The consumer's like, yes, I want you. This is great, right? And it's all about value. It's all about providing that value and that professionalism that's there. So congratulations on that win. That's huge.
100%.
So
Thank you.
hey, so you've talked a lot about being new to the industry and your successes and the leadership and the mentorship and the blah blah blah. So do you believe hey, this is a great place for you to be while you're learning, but then once you got it figured out, once you know everything you're doing and you're trained and you're mentored, then you're going to go to some of these EXP, Remax, 5-star, where you can just do it all. And that's kind of the plan, or do you feel like something different? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, if you really, I mean, if you think about it, if you're selling, let's use the 4, average homes sold a year by an agent.
Yep.
Let's say an experienced one is selling 8 to 10, 10's a round number,
Yep.
without any kind of concierge department help.
Yep.
So you could go from 10 to 20 and probably work less.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I mean, I would like more houses, as much as, March didn't indicate that, but always more face value. I mean, it's just being given to you. I don't understand the strategy of leaving for less houses, but I'm new,
So I guess what you're saying to me is this is not just a training ground for someone new and then they graduate to something greater. Like, this is a model that can help you to continue to grow your income, grow your impact through systems and support and strategies and procedures, and work less hours, is what you're telling me. Like, it's not about doing if you think about a doctor's office, right? The Remaxes and 5-stars and EXPs, basically everyone else out there, right?
Everyone else, yeah, right.
Their doctor's offices, they are the receptionist, they are the nurse, they are the doctor. Where at BP, we want you to stay being a doctor because the doctors get paid the most amount of money. We'll take care of the receptionist, we'll take care of the nurse for you, right? Like, you get to go stay a doctor and make more money here, working less hours because of all the system support strategies and solutions that we have for you.
Yeah, and I want it to be very clear that the strategies, the things that we're learning, we'll use the listing as an example. I'm up against experienced, seasoned agents that don't know about the strategies and solutions that we're using. These are people that might have been in the industry for, 3, 5, 10, 20 years. I don't know. But me 4 months in had more value to offer as clearly chosen by the clients
Mhm.
because of the strategies, the things that we're learning. So to say that, you would walk into a company and just say, I got it. I don't need any learning. I've got it all. I'm going to do it. Frankly, is not kind of the way we like to go about things. I mean, there's always room for growth. Always.
Yeah, well, I think you nailed something. Like some of your best athletes, some of your best CEOs, whatever, they still have a coach. Tiger Woods still has a coach, right? Like life is a lifelong learning and you're never arrived, especially in an industry like, yes, we have strategies and solutions that are helping you win today with today's market challenges and today's situations. But guess what? The market's always changing. And so as the market changes, we will create and come up with other solutions and strategies to help buyers and sellers win, to help you as an agent win, to keep you proactively ahead of the curve so that you make sure you continue to win. So this is not just a training ground, but it's a long-term fit where you work less hours, make more money, and have the support that you need.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
Cool. All right. Last question, Bud. What would you say, or what would you like to say to any of your realtor friends, anybody that you know that's in sales right now that are not making the money they want to make and that are not having the quality of life, the hours, like they're kind of stressed? What do you want to say to them?
That's it's tough out there for some who are competing and losing all the time. It's mentally draining. It's tough. Mm-hmm. For my friends and either other people who are watching that I don't know, if you're unhappy and stressed out and you're not making any money as it is, the point of change and growth and learning is to make sure that we get to the point that we envision ourselves doing. It's so important to find a team and a coach and a leadership. I mean, I'm one example, but you said it, 50% of agents didn't sell a house last year out of the, what are we at in GRAR right now?
Almost 4,000.
4,000. So we'll call it 2,000 agents didn't sell a house last year. Mm-hmm. That's not sustainable. Obviously, that's not sustainable. You can't do that. So you have to put yourself in a position that is going to grow you as a person, as an agent. And I might be a little biased here, but I think BP is a pretty swell place to do that. So
yeah. Well, we encourage success, and we encourage to have fun along the way, and we encourage a family feel like culture where we got each other's backs and we're always striving to do what? To create a home buying and selling experience that the consumer is going to be excited to go tell friends and family about, right? And build on that belief. And so, Corey, I couldn't be more proud of you as not only a real estate specialist here, but just a man of integrity, a man of character, and a man that just takes what you're extremely coachable. You take what you're learning and you're implementing it, and you're having great success. I'm proud of you, man. I'm proud to have you part of this team and part of our company. And just thanks for spending some time with me today.
Well, thank you, Howie. I appreciate your kind words and sitting down and chatting.